Hello and welcome to the Retro Game Time Machine podcast. At the time of recording, it is September the 11th, 2020. I am Mash the Newton, and joining me through a series of tubes is Andy the Android.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, things are going well. I really can't complain. Don't go outside, whatever you do. But
same. I also am in a place that I cannot really go outside. The air quality is terrible.
Yeah.
And now other states have joined us in the horrible fires. So, solidarity, I guess. At least there's that.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. I went out for a walk or took my dog for a go play fetch in the park, which was a bad idea, but there was also no one out there. I was literally the only person with the only dog out there.
Well, I mean, the advantage to that, I guess, is you don't have to worry about people not social distancing or not having masks on if there's nobody outside at all.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I was just thinking it's just another day in the apocalypse. So.
Yep. Yeah. The skies were orange the other day, and the sun was totally blocked out the other day. Like during the day, it felt dark. Like it felt like it was already dusk, but it was like 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yep.
I don't live in a hemisphere where that is normal. So yeah. Anyway, things are still crazy. Hopefully the aliens don't come.
Yes. So how's your week been going?
It's been all right. Been just kind of hanging out. Have had the what is it? I guess the rule of the roost.
Yes.
I guess. And so it's just been me and the cats, and I have other than the topic of our episode, which is Star Fox 64. Other than that, man, I have been playing so much Tony Hawk since the new 1 and 2 remaster, or I don't even know if it's called remastered, but it is, and it's amazing. But I won't go into the specifics of that until we get to what we've been playing. But yeah, I didn't remember that it was coming out, and then all of a sudden it was coming out the next day, and then I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. I automatically know how to play this. Yeah, things just came back. It all clicked. It's a great time.
I've also been playing something, but I'm going to keep it a surprise. You have to wait till the end to find out. But yes, I was playing one heck of a game over this last long Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so yeah, that's been my week. Work, hanging out with the cats, playing games. That's about it. What about you?
I also had a week of Rule of the Roost as my partner was traveling for family purposes, but it was kind of nice. It was kind of lonely. So it definitely had its ups and downs. I remember one night I was just very particularly in a terrible mood, just not agreeable to anything. I didn't feel good, any of that. But I kind of just woke up every morning like, well, what do I want to do today? I have complete control, and turns out I just played video games for most of it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same for me. Yeah. Just doing chores, play games, go to bed.
Occasional visit to the store, maybe for supplies.
Yep. Supply runs, and actually I started watching a TV show called Teenage Bounty Hunters on Netflix. It's pretty good. I've been enjoying it so far. I think I'm only 3, maybe 4 episodes in. But yeah, it's a fun show, I guess. I don't know what else to be watching right now. I don't usually watch a whole lot of stuff on my own. Usually all the stuff that I'm watching, I watch with my partner, generally. So trying to explore things that maybe we wouldn't watch together, but now that we are watching this, I'm like, actually, I think she might enjoy this.
But I have one of those as well. A friend, actually a listener of the show, recommended that I check out this show called Midnight Gospel on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting. It's almost like a podcast, but there's like this anime storyline that involves basically the main character sort of like travels to different dimensions, different versions of the earth, and goes there, and he meets somebody and he interviews and talks with them, but it plays out exactly like a podcast. So they're actually just kind of talking about whatever, whatever they're like. So it's kind of interesting, but yeah, like there's this little subplot sort of premise almost on the visuals on what you're watching, but you could actually just like if you just had the audio, you'd be like, I'm listening to a podcast right now. So
interesting.
it is interesting. It has like the first episode was that I was watching featured Dr. Drew, which was kind of interesting.
Okay,
so
yeah.
They're talking about like different effects of drugs and their experiences and things like that. But it's at least interesting.
Yeah,
I wouldn't consider necessarily family friendly. It's definitely more of an adult show, but
yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Well, I guess this is a video game podcast, so we should probably talk about video games.
Yeah, let's.
Let's head on into the news. And who would have thought that this is the 35-year Mario anniversary? Well, I guess you would have thought it if you would have just thought about the release year and did a little bit of math, but I wasn't thinking about that, so I was surprised. There's going to be a new Game & Watch that Nintendo's releasing for Super Mario Brothers with a little color LCD screen, and it does more Game & Watchy type things, and it can be a clock because I need another clock. But no, it legitimately looks really cool. And then also, in addition to this fancy new Game & Watch, is the release of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. And it is going to be digitally and physically released, though they're both going to be for a limited time only, which is quite an interesting decision.
Yeah, I think it was March 2021. So you've got about 6 months to pick this thing up once it goes on sale.
Yeah, which is digitally, and then also the physical sales. I don't know how many copies they're making or how many, production runs they're going to do for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's, it's interesting because with these, it seems like Nintendo releases these every once in a while. I guess for the 25th anniversary, did you know that they released a Wii version of Super Mario All-Stars?
Yes, it's red and it looks really cool. I don't own it, but I've considered picking it up. But then usually talk myself out of it because I'm like, I literally own every single one of these games like multiple times over. Yeah. So I don't need yet another version of Mario All-Stars, where this is the first time that a collection like this has existed for the 3D games.
Yes, 100%. It's just, especially the Wii one, it is literally just a port of Super Mario All-Stars emulated, but it's placed on a disc. So it's almost exactly a collector's novelty. But I guess that one was purchasable for some time on the Wii shop as well. So I thought that was, they didn't limit it like this one, but I'm pretty optimistic though. The implied, I know this isn't good enough for most people, but the implied prediction is that these games will be available separately, just not as a package or something at some point in the future. I'm willing to bet money.
Yeah, I've seen speculation also potentially, about Nintendo moving forward with a similar app as part of Nintendo Switch Online, like they've done for the NES and the SNES, but for the N64. Mm-hmm. So obviously, they would include Super Mario 64 in that app. So I'm wondering if that's also like a possible reason as to why they have this on sale for a limited time. Because who knows, maybe March 21st, 2021 is the release of that Nintendo 64 online, if that's even going to exist.
And the other question is, I guess we already have our answer, but I guess Super Mario Sunshine is going to be presented in widescreen as well, which is I thought was kind of interesting because I know that Super Mario Sunshine supports progressive scan. I thought that it supported widescreen as well, but maybe not.
Huh? Yeah, I don't know.
So I'd probably just fire up a copy, but
Yeah, and then also with Odyssey, didn't they remove the requirement to use motion control? Wait, not Odyssey.
Galaxy.
Galaxy.
It's very
Yeah.
close. So apparently, yeah, I think they did come out and clarify that, but that's the implication, is that motion control is optional. But actually, I think they confirmed that the motion controls do work with the Joy-Cons, so those will be there.
Yes.
So
yeah, but yeah, I believe that they at least aren't required. They still will exist.
Yeah,
and you can use them if you. Pardon me. You can use them if you want, but yeah. Anyway, I think that'll be interesting. Because I likely will end up playing all three of these games in handheld mode. At least is my prediction. So yeah, I think it's nice that they've removed the requirement for motion.
I'm really equally excited to try both. Sorry to cut you off there, but
really
I was like, because when I played the heck out of Super Mario Galaxy, so to the point of it's one of the few in my 100% club.
Oh, nice.
So, which is I don't want to spoil anything about the game, so I'm gonna just leave it there. But there is sort of a new Game Plus mode to it as well, so cool. I've beaten both. So anyway, so for me, playing without motion control almost seems like wrong. So I was totally fine with the motion controls. I enjoyed it. Yeah. But we'll see. I'm going to try both, and then I also want to see if the Joy-Cons will be a proper substitute. I'm guessing they will be, just because I know.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, the Joy-Cons use a similar, like, to Wii Motion Plus as far as like accelerometer pointer controls rather than actual infrared pointer controls.
Yeah,
and I know that it works very well in Skyward Sword. It's one of my favorite Zelda games, but anyway, so it'll just be, maybe it'll be better. Because occasionally, I did have a little bit of trouble with the original Super Mario Galaxy, the pointer jumping around a little bit just due to light interference and things like that. So, but yeah, I can be more excited. Maybe you'll have that physical release and I can get that from you as soon as possible. So
yes. And for the listeners, what Andy's referring to is the fact that I was like, okay, well, I really need to get a copy of this. Somebody that I know posted a link to pre-order at Best Buy, and I was like, perfect, I'm going to do that. But then I also saw pre-orders go up for, I think, also on Amazon, and I have some like credit, and I was like, okay, well, I'll pre-order here also, just in case, to make sure I get at least one. So if I get both, then at standard price, no markup, is what we will exchange for, because I hate people that buy stuff for the sake of scalping it. I really hate, like, oh my God, I hate it so much.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that I hope that I get both, so that means that both of us get a copy.
Yeah, thanks for providing the backstory. I didn't think about, like, oh, this is kind of a story why I might be getting one from you.
Yes. I'm like, I don't want people to think I'm shady and I buy crap and mark it up and sell it even to my friends.
Good point.
Yeah. So anyway, exciting stuff. Very much looking forward to that coming out. Looking forward to playing some more Mario. The next thing that is in our news is the price has officially been announced for not only the Xbox Series X, but wait a second, there's a Series S as well that was announced. And it is $299 for the Xbox Series S and $499 for the Series X. I think that's a pretty great move on Microsoft's part to be doing 2 different price points. Especially because I think I know there's going to be two different versions of the PS5 coming from Sony, the optical drive version and then the no disc or the discless version, which is kind of funny to say. Yeah, so I don't think that there's going to be a $200 difference between the two of those.
No.
So I'm thinking Microsoft is trying their darndest to pick up a bunch of people, like even that are possibly going to be like begrudgingly buying an Xbox because it's like, dang it, that's just a good price.
Yes. Yeah, it's super good price. Good introductory price. I think I saw someone had pointed out online that this is a very good traditional console price because
Yeah,
I believe the 360 debuted at the PlayStation 2 debuted at that price. It's a very
wait, at what price?
At $299, I believe.
I think the 360.
360.
I think
Okay.
that was, well, at least I think I paid $400 for mine for my very first one.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, it's 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 a good one for people looking just to get into it. And if you're just using it to play Game Pass anyway, you won't need that disc drive. But man, Sony with that PS5, I bet my prediction is that there's going to be a $50 price difference between those two. It's not going to be much. So
I think it would be crazy on their part to do anything more than $50 for the difference of only an optical drive, because if it's more than, like, if it's $100 difference, then they're not going to be selling the version with the optical drive. Like, people will not be buying that. I say that, but there's still a considerable number of people that buy physical discs for PS4 and Xbox One. I'm not one of those people, but I am surprised periodically when I see, like, game collections online. It's like somebody has like 400 physical PS4 games, and I'm like, I personally am just like, I don't know. That's a hard sell because you can't just throw in a disc and then just play it most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, especially we're talking, the thing is about the Series X and the PS5 is that these things are going to be backwards compatible at least one generation in the PS5's case. And so if you want to use a disc, like from any generation, you're going to need that disc drive most likely, unless they find another way around that, which they may, but who knows?
Trying to think. Oh yeah, November 10th, I think it is when the duo of Xboxes are being released. And I'm sure sometime around then for the PlayStation 5. I'm just like everyone else. I'm really curious about what this thing is going to cost.
Yeah, it's going to be well, we'll see. I'm going to be a wait and see. And honestly, with the PS5, that seems like I like the size of the Series S. I'm like, that's something I can get behind. But the PS5 is going to be an enormous, like, it's probably going to stand up next to my gaming PC actually in height pretty well. So that's a little hard for me to swallow, but we'll
maybe they'll do a fairly quick hardware revision to get like a slimmer version.
Yes.
Is what there were how many different hardware revisions of the PS3?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That could be a whole show.
I think there were at least 3. So
yeah, I feel like there were 3, but there might have even been like technically 4, but maybe not that subtle. I mean, maybe then not that significant of a change, or maybe even 5.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about physical footprint, like I'll say there are 3 revisions for PS3s.
Yeah, that's physical footprint. Yes, 3.
It's like slim, and then they did like one more, and then there was the like legacy last model with the without the
the super slim, the little sliding door thing on top.
Yes, the sliding door. Yeah.
It's probably my least favorite looking one, but that's probably the one that will last forever.
Yeah, it's also probably the rarest. I think I would imagine.
Oh, really?
I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah. No, I guess
imagine
that would
there'd be
make
a lot of
sense.
them. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Moving on from PS3 console revisions because we're talking about the Series S and X and PS5. Another thing that's going to be happening is EA Play is actually going to be added to Game Pass Ultimate. Is it? Sorry, I'm saying Ultimate with a question mark at the end.
Yeah, I believe so.
I
That's what
think
I
it's.
had
I think it's
read.
probably a part of Ultimate. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. So it's more games included for the same price of Game Pass. And that's really awesome because I've been paying it's only been $30 a year. But I've been paying $30 a year for EA access on Xbox, and now I just don't have that bill anymore. And I still have Game Pass and I still have those games. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's going to really flesh out the catalog, but also the thing that I'm pretty sure this doesn't include the premier tier because there is another tier of EA Play, so which is totally understandable because that's a lot that it's most of their catalog that you can play that way. But
yeah,
that's probably I believe that that Star Wars game, the oh man, Squadrons, but the Jedi one.
Oh yeah,
it's not Jedi Outcast.
Crap, it's the one that just came out. I can see. Wait, something order.
Yes.
First Order. No, that's the name of.
Yep.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
There we go.
Yes. Okay. The official title, because this always cracks me up. Star Wars Jedi : Fallen Order.
Yes.
So yeah, I bet that's on there, and that's probably when I'm going to play it because I've been looking for a deal on that game because I want to play it.
Yeah, like it's like I've just enjoyed it for being able to play some of the Battlefield games that I never decided I wanted to actually buy. But also like it's really rare, but every now and then I get the itch to play a sports game and I just want to check it out because I grew up absolutely loving playing sports games. And then I kind of morphed into like somebody who likes playing all different kinds of games and not just sports games. But yeah, I like every few years, like playing like a couple games of Madden or something just to be like, wow, this looks amazing now. Like this is so much better than Madden NFL 95 on my Super Nintendo.
Yeah, and I think I fired up NBA 2K20 not too long ago, and I might have played one 2K game. I was more of an NBA Live guy back in the day, when those existed. But the amount of options is just like baffling. Like there's so
much if you just want to like casually play. Also,
yeah. And then you're casually playing, and you're like, why am I so bad at this? And there's because there's a total like unlocked. There's like a move set that you or area of the controller you're completely glazing over. You don't even notice that.
Yeah.
So
if there are options to dumb down controls or difficulty, I definitely do that now.
Yeah. I mean, I like Rocket League. Rocket League's my sports game itch because it's like dead. I mean, it's complex. There's complexities to it, but also it's just like hit the ball into the goal. There's no other things to worry about.
Yep. All right. Well, EA Play being part of Game Pass, that's great. More games for the same amount of money. Who could be angry at that? I'm sure somebody. But another thing that came up in the news that I thought was really interesting, and I'm looking forward to checking out, is the Breath of the Wild prequel, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, is coming to the Nintendo Switch. This is a Dynasty Warriors style game. Like, did you play Hyrule Warriors?
I think, okay. I went to Anime Con in, which I believe was in LA, and we'll say before Hyrule Warriors came out on the DS, and I got to do like a little focus test with it. I got to play
nice.
but that's the only time that I played Hyrule Warriors. And I had fun. It was just like I got to play for like 15 minutes, like a good demo, and then they just asked me some questions, like what I thought. I was sad because I didn't have a new 3DS, and I was playing on a new 3DS, which so looked pretty good on it.
Yeah,
ran really well. Didn't on original hardware, so. But that's all I played of it. That's a long way of saying it's only a little bit.
Kinda.
Yes, kinda.
Cool. Yeah, I played it on the Wii U, and really enjoyed it. So, I don't know. I kind of like the mindless button mashing, just like lay waste to 1,000 enemies before you. It's cool. I had a good time with it. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. And this one actually looks like it might have a little bit more depth or a little bit more going on with the story than the Hyrule Warriors that I played on the Wii U. So
yeah, it sounds super cool. I haven't even seen a trailer or anything, so I'm gonna at least check that out. Yeah,
it looks fun. All right. Anything else to say on that?
No, I think we're Shenmue Anime.
Yes, I was gonna say. Speaking of anime, we got a pretty good segue there. Yeah, so there's an anime for Shenmue that's going to be coming to. It's going to be on Crunchyroll and it's going to be on something else. Hold on, but they're going to be making 13 episodes. And sorry, I guess I cannot find where else it's coming. Thought I saw it was going somewhere else. Anyway, I think that'll be great. I'm excited. I am 100% looking at Shenmue with nostalgia goggles because I have not played the re-release. I've not played it. I've not played the original game, which I still have on my shelf behind me. And like, I've done nothing with Shenmue in, I don't know, 15 years at least. Oh yeah, and happy belated birthday to the Dreamcast. Dreamcast turned 21 years old 2 days ago. So yeah, I've not played it in a very long time, but I remember absolutely loving Shenmue and walking around late 1980s Japan and not even really caring that much about the story, but stopping in at the local stores and playing the arcade games. So basically, my memory of Shenmue is being a walking simulator through late 80s Japan playing arcade games at convenience stores. So actually, I don't know why I'm excited about this anime because I'm sure that it's not going to be that. I should just watch High Score Girl again.
Yeah, but it's I'm sure it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm very interested. This is interesting to me because I like Shenmue. I like things about it. I haven't played Shenmue. I'm afraid to play it because I find that maybe it won't have aged well for me, and it'll be maybe not a lot of fun. But I like everything I've seen of it. So
yes, well, it definitely was a very important game for the Sega Dreamcast, and I remember being very hyped and very excited about its release.
Yes.
So yeah, keep an eye out for the Shenmue anime. Hopefully I'll still enjoy it, even if it's not just walking around and playing arcade games. There's a new update coming to Animal Crossing New Horizons, and there's going to be some Mario-themed furniture coming. And really what I have to say about this is it's about time. It is about time. Like that's always been my favorite part of playing Animal Crossing, is getting all of the Nintendo and Mario themed stuff. Like that I realized since playing this latest release on the Switch, that was my favorite thing about every other Animal Crossing. So it has bothered me a little bit that content has not yet existed.
Yeah, and it's kind of, since they're doing regular updates, it's sort of ripe for the pickings for this game. I mean, it seems like easy thing to do, but I remember in the original, I think it was the original Animal Crossing, you could get a fire bar in there, so it was as a piece of furniture.
You can also, I think you can.
It might have been a New Leaf when I saw it, but
yeah, I mean, so I'm thinking of New Leaf, but you know what? You still might be right, because there was a lot of really cool stuff in the original Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I think there was like a Master Sword as well. You could get that as well. It's just the Master Sword and its little pedestal.
Yes.
So anyway, that's I remember that because that's how I know what a fire bar is. It's that little just rotating fire thing that you have to jump over. So
Yeah.
like, what could a fire bar be? Because of course in Animal Crossing you get the item, you see the name before you see actually what it is, and then you send it out. You're like, oh.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing that has ever been an item in Animal Crossing are all of the NES games and I keep saying the original. What I mean by original is the original US release of Animal Crossing, which was on the GameCube. I had no idea if these NES games were in the N64 Japanese release.
I don't think they were, but yeah, definitely don't quote me on that.
Yeah, but so yeah, like I made, like I laid them all out in my basement in the GameCube Animal Crossing. So like I would turn on Animal Crossing so that I could run down into my basement and like play Excite Bike. Yeah.
I had Punch Out, so that was the only way. I think that was the only way that I played Punch Out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't remember how many games there were that you could get. But anyway, I think that would be super cool if they added something like that, which I know they won't, to the Switch version, because they don't need to. It's part of Nintendo Switch Online, but still, I think it'd be super fun to be able to play it from within the game. Mm-hmm. But whatever, not important. So yeah, I hope there's some cool Mario themed stuff. I think that's coming. I don't know. Is that coming towards the end of the year or early next year or sometime next year? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember them seeing it or them actually explicitly saying it.
Yeah, maybe they didn't say a release date. Okay, well, anyway, coming sometime. So Nintendo's sticking with the happy anniversary 35 years Mario with this release. And sticking right along with celebrating 35 years of Mario is Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. It is now available for pre-order, but did you see the Nintendo Direct with this?
Yes, I did. And when I was watching it, I'm like, I was trying to like conceptualize. I'm like, how is this possible? I mean, being like a tech person, I'm like, all right, so they're controlling it with a Switch. I guess this is happening over Bluetooth or something, or Wi-Fi.
Either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi.
Probably, I don't even know. Yeah, no, the Switch would have Bluetooth because it needs it to communicate with the controllers. But
yeah,
anyway, I just like, it kind of blew my mind. I'm actually surprised. Some people were like, "Oh my god, this thing's $100." It's I think that's very reasonable for what this is. But
yeah, like seeing the fact that it was $100, I'm not surprised. I know that I want it, but I don't know if I will get it.
I think it would be a lot. I don't know. I doubt that it supports online play. Like if you could have two racers but
that'd be so funny. Have like a Ghost Racer setup type thing. Well, I think that would require that you would both have to conform to laying out the exact same track.
Yeah, I was more thinking like you're playing at one player's house, but you can see the feed on your Switch over, your so.
Then your go-kart like Mario or Luigi would then have to be at the other person's house.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they would have to, I guess, for you or something like that. I feel like
though that would be inviting some really bad publicity in the news at some point where it's like Florida man hacks into somebody's Nintendo Switch Online account and like drives through this house, I don't know, and takes illicit screenshots or I don't know, some weird crap like that.
Yeah, so, of course. Yeah, we can't have nice things, but
and have remote controlled cars with cameras on them.
Yes. Yeah.
In other people's homes.
And if you haven't heard, I guess we weren't really explaining this. It's actually a little difficult to explain, but it's a remote control car you control with your Switch, and you can see the camera's direct feed.
Yeah, which the camera is right above and behind like Mario's head.
Yeah, which is a little weird, but it works. I think it works well enough for what I see.
So yeah, I mean, just imagine like a little RC car Mario with a GoPro on it. And that's kind of what this is. Or, yes. I guess it's the equivalent of like a drone with a camera on it, but it just doesn't fly.
Yeah. And, more than potentially buying this thing, which I most likely will not, I will want to see what people do with this online. Like what they, make some insane tracks that, go over their house or something crazy like that. But.
Yeah, I think this would be like one afternoon of fun, and then it would sit on the shelf for forever. Yes. And I'd be like, look what I have. Still, even though I'm saying that, it doesn't rule out that I won't have one. I'm just leaning towards no. Yes. But I'm weak, so who knows? And all right, the last thing on our news agenda here is something that really surprised me. I think this is really awesome, and I really hope that we get a physical release for this so that it doesn't have to be quite so devastating the next time it gets delisted. Mm-hmm. And of course, I am referring to Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It is being re-released this holiday. It's going to be coming to the PS4, the Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch. I think it's also coming to Stadia, and PC, maybe? I don't know if I saw PC.
I think I definitely saw PC.
Okay.
But, it's funny. I saw a Watch Mojo video online. It was talking about games that are, got delisted that you can't get anymore. And this one came up, and it talked about how someone on Twitter said, like, Ubisoft, please re-release this game. And then they responded on Twitter with like a little thinking emoji. So it was kind of like they didn't have to respond, but they did. And
yeah,
so I kind of had a feeling that this was coming at some point. I'm glad it is. I'm a Scott Pilgrim fan. It makes me want to read the manga just in anticipation for this, but
yeah, I think it's great that it's being re-released. I still have it on my 360, so I thankfully have not suffered the fate of other folks in not having it. And I have a number of like delisted games that are on my 360 that just makes me sad that they've been delisted. So I'm hoping some of these other games get the same treatment, but I really, really hope this gets a physical release. And if it doesn't officially get one, like as a standard print, I really hope that they partner with Limited Run or another one of those limited print production companies, because I would love to have a physical version of this game.
Yeah, same actually. I would take a physical of that just to see the art on it. I think it's got to be cool.
Yeah, and in this version, they are adding Knives Chow and who else?
So I believe that these were DLC packs. So they're just kind of packing them into
this will be
final release
because I never bought the DLC.
And Wallace, I believe, is the.
Oh yeah, Wallace. You're right.
So that's Scott's roommate in the.
Yeah.
I just remembered actually. I was like, which character? Anyway, Wallace, of course. Who could forget?
All right. Well, exciting stuff about that coming back. Anything else to talk about news-wise while we are in the present?
I don't think so. It's big news this week. More to come as holiday approaches, I imagine.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Sony will be right behind Microsoft on this price announcement since it's their turn now. So
yeah, I mean, it's still been like, what, 2 days, I think? It's surprising they haven't said anything yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they're like, all right, get the whoever on the phone.
They're just like, crap, how much money can we lose on this console? Like, what's the, like, what are we willing to lose so that we can price it super low?
Yeah.
Because I really don't think they're going to do another PS3 thing, which I think I've already said here.
I have to make a prediction.
Well, prediction? Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna I think that PS5 is gonna come out at $599. I'm betting. So
really?
I think they're gonna go higher than the Series X.
They're gonna go $100 more.
They might it could.
That was how Microsoft messed up last time.
They might do something where they go the discless for the $499 price, but the I think the full fat one is going to be definitely, I think, $599.
I don't know. I feel like they're probably going to play it safe at the $499 price point, or like $498.
Yeah, I think they would have to be willing to lose like $100 per unit to do that, I think. So, and I don't think they are.
All right. Well, time will tell.
Yes.
And as the console wars continue. All right. Well, I am ready to travel back to 1997 if you are.
Yeah, actually, let's do it.
All right. Let's step on in that time machine. And now we have arrived in 1997. Why, on the radio, I think I hear I'll Be Missing You by Puff Daddy and Faith Evans featuring 112, because it is currently the #1 song in the United States here at the day of release, June 30th of 1997 for Star Fox 64. Another big thing here now that we're in 1997 is Titanic. Hey, remember that? How could you forget? My segue will go on because George Clooney was the sexiest man alive, according to People magazine. Also in 1997, which it is right now, South Park has aired for the first time, and it is quickly becoming one of the most easy for me to say, controversial television shows ever. And I gotta say, from watching South Park in middle school, it was quite the controversy. Let's see. Oh, this was also the year that I had to pretend that I did not like the song Mbop, even though it's an earworm and it gets stuck in your head and it's just kind of happy, because I needed to retain credibility in middle school. There was no way that I could tell my friends that I even remotely enjoyed this song at all.
You said it. It's such a happy song. Like, how could you hate it?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's back to that whole, you got to be cool. You got to, I don't know, weird dude mindset. So yeah. Teletubbies are a thing this year, and they still continue to terrorize us to this day.
They were never cool to like.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, I guess it depends on your demographic or age, or I have no idea. And the last taste of 1997 that I will leave us with before we move on to Star Fox 64 is the special enhanced or remastered or whatever you want to call it edition of Star Wars was released on VHS. And I'm talking the original 3 Star Wars being re-released on VHS, that George Lucas remastering there. So yeah, I had that box set VHS. Thing was gigantic.
I didn't get that one. I remember my babysitter had it, but I would later go on to buy the DVD set. So
gotcha.
A few years later.
All right. Well, let's talk about Star Fox 64. I know that I already said the release date for North America, which was June 30th, 1997. But it actually came out earlier in Japan on April 27th of 1997. And then the last release, well, actually, I didn't put down the release date of the IQ. But on Nintendo 64 hardware, the last release was October 4th, 1997 in the PAL territory. This game was developed by Nintendo EAD in Kyoto. I've actually been outside of that building when I was in Kyoto a couple of years ago. I call that out just because I saw a picture of Nintendo EAD when I was looking up some of this information. The music was composed by Koji Kondo and Hajime Wakai. I'm hoping I'm saying his last name correctly, and designed and produced by none other than Shigeru Miyamoto. So, in Star Fox 64, you take control of a fox aptly named Fox McCloud, and you command a crew of 4, including you, to take down Andross yet again. Because, spoiler alert, he's back from the first game. This game is a largely like on-rails type shooter where you basically just keep on moving forward. You can't stop. You can't turn around. Your only option is just keep going forward. So basically, you just need to keep shooting stuff, get your power-ups, keep on trucking. Power-ups range from like silver and gold rings, which help power up your ship's shields. They repair you if you've been damaged. If you get enough gold rings, then it also upgrades your overall shield capacity. You also pick up bombs and different laser upgrades so that you can really help make quick work of any enemies that are coming up on the screen. The laser upgrades are kind of cool. There's, you start off with a single, you get a double. You actually reminded me of the fact that the third level of it is the super laser, and it's blue.
I believe it's called the hyper laser.
The hyper laser. Yeah. I wasn't, so I probably had been using it and I just wasn't thinking about it. But as soon as you brought it up, the next time that I played through, it was like, oh yeah, it is blue. Like it is a different color, and it like I am killing enemies faster. It's just stuff I probably learned when the game came out a long time ago, and I have since forgotten. Let's see here. Oh yeah, you can also charge your laser shot, and that will basically hone in on enemies, and even like it can be successful in taking out groups of enemies if they're closely like clustered together in a tight pattern. So that's one of my favorite things to do. It kind of does some of the work for you.
Did you know that you can also use that to hone a bomb as well? So you not just your laser shot, but if you lock on to someone, then use a bomb, the bomb will actually follow the person. So I didn't know that until this most recent playthrough, but it is amazing when it happens. Like, because I always feel like you're just shooting.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that was so many things this game taught me this time around. So.
Wow. You know what? I wonder if I don't know. I'll talk about what I was just thinking of once we're into our memories and what we've done this time around. Okay, so let's see. All right. In addition to the corridor or the on rails type mode of the game, there are sections of levels or even whole levels that utilize all range mode. And all range mode is where you get to fly around in a set 3D environment so that you can like try to circle around your enemies. You can actually turn around. You can fly in a loop to try to get behind your enemy. You can actually do evasive dogfighting, basically in all range mode, which is super fun. There's a couple different vehicles you get to use. Primarily, you're flying around the R-Wing, which is a fighter plane, and it works within the atmosphere of planets, but also out in open space. There's the Landmaster, which is the tank that can hover and roll. It also does all the same like lock-on thingies, and it does all the same stuff that the R-Wing does. There's also the Blue Marine, which never mind, I'll talk about it later. But the Blue Marine, it's a submarine with unlimited torpedoes. You can't use smart bombs, but you do still have lasers. And Star Fox 64, it's a very arcade style game, I'd say. Part of the reason I'm saying this is you can finish a playthrough in about an hour or less. It also, I guess it depends on your skill level and what branching path you're going to be taking. And the branching paths are decided by like particular actions or kill counts that you get within a level. And there's basically an easy, normal, and a hard path to get through these different branch paths. And then the general reception to the game was really great. A lot of, I don't know, it was very well reviewed, and to this day still has an 88 out of 100 on Metacritic, which, you know, it's not too shabby for a game that came out in 1997.
I was going to talk a little bit about the plot. Specifically, you touched on it a little bit.
Please do.
Andros is back. The Star Fox team is hired by the Cornerian army, headed by General Pepper. I thought it was Sergeant Pepper for a minute, but then like a direct reference to the Beatles anyway. But it's General Pepper to defend the Lilat system against the banished evil scientist Andros and his cronies. And also General Pepper, according to the lore, was the sort of perpetuant to ban him. It was so Andros is back for revenge. Fox McCloud has his own personal motivations to defeat Andros, as his father sacrificed his life to defend his friend Peppy Hare.
You're becoming more like your father.
Exactly. Do a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll.
Anyway. So that Peppy Hare could escape by a trap set by their treacherous former teammate, Pigma Dengar.
Pigma.
Yes. Yeah, totally. He's a total jerk in the game too.
No.
And the choices the player make will sort of shift the journey, and it'll eventually lead to one of two endings via 25 possible paths. So that's all crazy. The different planets and systems. Yeah, there's because there's minor divergence, where you could kind of choose which planet you go to. So it could be nearly identical, save for one planet that's a new path. So some missions are considered like kind of pass or fail. So like if you don't defuse the bomb on Fukushima, that gives you a particular outcome. So there's a mission that you complete on I think it's Tatina. Anyway, there's with Bill, and he'll kind of sort of, oh, I'm sorry, it's Katina. I have it right here. Anyway, if you don't complete that mission, Bill won't help you later because he doesn't owe you a favor. And if you play the level Zonus, you will meet a character named Kat, and Kat will help you out with another potential obstacle, I believe on Macbeth. And then also my favorite.
Is Macbeth the underwater one?
That Macbeth is the train level in the Landmaster tank.
Oh, I think I know. Yeah, I've seen her there too. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. There's these little I don't know what they're called, but they're these little red pillars or something that you have to shoot. And
yes, you have to hit all 8 of them.
Yes, and Kat will actually help you with that. So, which is cool. Oh. She'll hit one of them. My favorite though is in Sector X. There is a boss called Spyborg, and that you have a brief moment to kill Spyborg where Slippy is in front of you, and if not, the boss totally slaps Slippy right out of space, and you have to go to Titania, I believe, to save Slippy. So.
That's right. I didn't play that during this playthrough, but now that you're saying it, I've definitely played that.
I didn't have the hyper laser, or else I would have totally defeated that boss before that the boss had the chance, but I had the single green laser, so it took a lot longer. So it was just a whole sequence that need to start. But that level is not my favorite though, Titania. That one's it's just the boss is kind of annoying to beat. He gives a lot of damage, and he's not very clear on how you can damage him. So, I remember playing this game back in '97. I didn't own an N64 at the time. I wouldn't get my own for a couple more years. I was using my stepbrother's for a while, but I remember being at someone's house, possibly my cousin or something around. I felt like it was somewhere near launch. I remember it being really cool, but seeing it, Until this playthrough, though, I didn't actually like the game all that much. It seems like way too short, and the fact that it didn't have a save system, or it does have a save system, but the save system made me angry. It's seemingly no save system, because if you turn it off in the middle of a mission, you have to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
But it does remember your progress for your playthroughs and your scores, which is cool. But yeah, in contrast to like Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, how you could sort of save at any point, you wouldn't actually resume right in that spot, but the fact that you didn't have to, redo your progress under any circumstance, I thought was
but yeah, it's a totally different style game though.
Yes.
From Ocarina of Time and 64, or I'm calling Super Mario 64 just 64.
That's close enough. But at the same time, this game is short enough that now I can kind of see that the campaign is in service of this system.
Yeah.
So you're kind of meant to just like do a run, win or lose, just do a run and see how far you can get. And you're sort of encouraged to do this to discover new secrets, and I believe it's Sector Y. If you just happen to do good enough, you get to go on to Aquas. So, and
yes,
like you were talking about the Blue Marine, I think is what it was called.
Yeah,
what is it?
Yeah, the Blue Marine.
Yes, I think that's what it's called. I couldn't remember what that was called.
Well, I have it. Yeah, sorry, it's right up here in our dock. The Blue Marine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's such a wild level. Sorry, I'll briefly mention this level.
That's okay.
Quiet, but I forgot about this level completely. Like I 1,000% forgot that it existed, and I got into it in one of the playthroughs that I did, because I think I played through this like 6 or 7 times during the past 2 weeks since we last recorded, and like the first time that I got to it, like I forgot that the Blue Marine exists. Like I forgot literally everything about it. And I'm like, how the hell did I not know about this? And how have I never played this level in Star Fox 64? Well, I ended up getting towards the end of the level and I'm like, oh, I have played this. I've just totally forgot about this. I just felt so bad for Slippy. They're all just ripping on him so hard at the end of that level when you clear the level. Anyway, Team Slippy.
Yeah, they really give Slippy a hard time because she's I always thought it was a she when
I've never tried to gender Slippy because I have no idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, frog after all, but
yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah. So anyway, it's that character is more of the scientist, the inventor, like not necessarily the pilot, right? So so anyway, there's we were talking about the Blue Marine, but yeah, they really give Slippy a hard time during that one about the sub, I guess. Like there's no way this thing's gonna hold up, especially Falco.
Yeah, just like, wow, I'm surprised that thing held together.
Yeah, give Slippy some credit.
Like, there's even a point in that level at the end where they say something along the lines of like, wow, like it's not this exactly, but it's like, I don't know, implications of Slippy being such a screw up normally, but like it's such a surprise that like things went according to plan and went well.
Yes.
And they were like following, Slippy's advice or something. I don't know. I just when they just started like talking crap, I was just like, what? Like there has to be more to this backstory that I don't understand as to why they're ripping into Slippy so much.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes apparent that Slippy often needs help. So you kind of learn what
get this guy off my tail.
Yes, exactly. And that stuff got really annoying too, because like
what's the big idea?
I remember fighting against Starwolf, and literally my teammates aren't doing anything to help except for being targets for Starwolf. particularly in Venom 2, because that one took me a bunch of tries because it's really hard. But anyway, it's just like they weren't actually doing anything to damage Starwolf, and they are distracting me from doing damage to Starwolf. So that was a little, but it is, you know, in your benefit to keep them alive. They do things for you occasionally.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, there's something that you brought up to talk about the different level. There's one particular level variation where you can take warps. Actually, I guess there's two. To different.
Had no idea about warps.
So
no idea. You totally blew my mind when you told me about this the other day.
So I'm sending you a YouTube link. So I just want to have your hot take when you see this. It's already set to start around the time where the warp actually starts, but these levels are a trip and they're actually really impressive for the N64 to be doing.
What?
Yes.
Dude, I've even flown through those things.
Yes, you have to nail every one to actually.
Holy crap!
It's like, it reminds me of a bonus level.
It is.
Yeah,
it's totally a bonus level.
Yeah, it's totally there just to rack up points and get supplies. Because this particular one takes you from the easiest route to the hardest route. So
holy crap, this is so cool! I can't believe I didn't. Oh, and then a big old 64. Oh man, Nintendo. Oh, this is brilliant. Wow. I'm going to have to check this out.
Yeah, this is the, you know, for those listeners.
It's like, yeah, it's like a bonus stage.
Yeah, this is amazing. Like the Meteor level Mateo Warp. This is a particular one. I like that one better. There's another one in Sector X as well, which will take you to Sector Z. Okay, I might have gotten those crossed.
Wow.
This warp will definitely take you to it's Katina as well. So it sort of lets you diverge back to the medium path.
This reminds me of Rez a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow, man. I know this me watching a video does not make good radio, but still, like, holy crap. Like,
I wanted your hot take.
That is amazing. I'm going to have to try that out.
Yeah. Yeah, there's two. So there's two, Mateo and Sector X. There's another warp. The Sector X is a little bit easier to do because you just have to shoot these targets, where this one you actually have to sort of fly through these hoops. And it took me probably 5 or 6 tries to do it. So I had to.
Yeah, and because you were playing on the Wii U, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you were able to use the save states then to like practice through that section.
Yeah, you can create one save state, which kind of got me into trouble, but I always kind of made sure that I made a save state on my first life, because that's usually when I'm the most powerful. Yeah. When you respawn, you sort of lose your upgrades, and that's can make it a lot harder.
Well, dang, I'm gonna have to try that out. That looks super fun.
Yeah, and these are in the 3DS version, which I believe you said you played as well.
Yeah, so I played once through on the 3DS, where, I don't know, a few years ago when it came out on the 3DS, I picked it up digitally and just played through it a bunch. I mean, I think it's really great to play on the 3DS because, well, it's nice if you are going to play it portable to play it on the 3DS because, well, I guess that's technically your only option, legitimately, but also the fact that, you know, you can just do suspend and resume makes it so nice for this game, especially if you're only getting to play for a couple of minutes, close up the 3DS, come back to it later, where I did play nearly every one of my playthroughs except one on my Nintendo 64 and my copy of Star Fox 64, which was really awesome. I loved using the N64 controller, which I actually did switch up and use the Brawler 64 controller that I also have. That also feels really great. It was a little bit weird with the triggers, where on the left side I had to use what is the equivalent of like LT or L2, depending on which way you go, or I guess for Nintendo that would be ZL, and then use R, like the traditional place for R to do your barrel roll stuff. So it's weird just doing like an asymmetrical thing to get a symmetrical type of turn system happening.
Yes.
But anyway, and I was kicking myself that I only remembered to use the Rumble Pack for my most recent playthrough. Like I totally forgot about the Rumble Pack until I was going back and I was looking at a couple different things about Star Fox 64, which I was reminded of the fact that Nintendo Power sent out a promotional VHS ahead of the release of Star Fox 64. I got that. Like I got that in the mail and I watched it. That was part of the reason why I was super hyped for Star Fox 64, because Nintendo was mailing me free propaganda to love their games, and that is exactly what happened. So yeah, to diverge a little bit, I think I also got the Donkey Kong Country VHS, and there might have been one more that I got. Anyway, super cool marketing, even though they were incredibly cheesy. I really enjoyed it as a kid. Let's see, what else do I actually have to say about my take on the game? Because I kind of started going off. So yes, I was very hyped before the game was released. I did not actually buy the game at first. One of my friends got it, so that automatically meant like, well, I hang out here a lot, so now I don't need to spend the $60 that I have on this game, or probably even 70, because it came with the Rumble Pack, and they didn't like games weren't standard prices always. Like it depended on how much the cart cost to produce, how much it was sold for. Because man, I remember paying too much money for Turok. Anyway,
I think with the N64, that's when they started the $60 price tag for games too. I think that
I remember Shadows of the Empire that first Christmas being like $80 or $90, like retail. Anyway, so yeah, so since I primarily played it at a friend's house, we played a lot of multiplayer. I probably played more multiplayer than I did single player. Wait, wasn't there something that you could do to unlock playing as the Landmaster?
Yes, that's correct. I just read that today. I heard that you could unlock things.
So that's cool, because I hadn't read that, but that just, as I was talking about, like, I played with my friends, then we like the Landmaster.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the majority of how I played the game. Though not the only way. We did the thing that I guess I don't really do much anymore, because I don't play single player games with a friend, because I have no friends that live near me. Well, and we're in a pandemic, but wow, I'm really sidetracking myself. Sorry. We took turns basically, like, playing each level back and forth, playing single player to get through Star Fox 64. As you do when you're a kid, or, just even an adult with another adult who wants to play the same game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So that, let's see, Rumble Pack, which I know I mentioned, that was actually really, really cool at the time. Like that is truly what sold me on rumble and feedback in a controller. I don't know that technically it wasn't in the controller, but I don't know. I thought it was a super cool add-on for the N64. I know you and I were kind of talking about the expansion pack for the N64 the other day, and that being like a cool add-on and a really great way to do things. And overall, I think I would say the same thing about the Rumble Pack. I pulled up a list of the games that are compatible with the Rumble Pack. It's a surprising amount. Like I forgot how much that thing was supported. Of course, not only for this game, but so many others. But correct me if I'm wrong. Did the Rumble Pack first exist with this game? Because I know that it was packed in with it, but I can't remember if it was for sale independently first, and then they were like, this was their big marketing way to try to sell the Rumble Pack, was to pack it in. Do you recall?
I think it was packed in, because I remember seeing seeing something on the box.
For sure it's packed in, because I have my box and I still have one packed in the box.
I wouldn't be surprised if they re-released it separately without the Rumble Pack. but that's your question, right? Whether they release it without the Rumble Pack also?
No, well, I mean, I can't remember if the Rumble Pack was released prior to Star Fox 64, and then they tried to get a bigger adoption rate by bundling it, or if the very first time consumers saw the Rumble Pack was because it came with Star Fox 64.
I think that if my memory serves me, that's correct. Yeah, I think this was the first game that sort of came with it. It was released with it, just like the expansion pack for I believe it was Donkey Kong. They packed it in with Donkey Kong 64.
Oh, they did,
because it was required to play. So
yeah, I bought it independently, but there would have been a game that caused me to do that, and it wasn't Perfect Dark.
Was it Majora's Mask? Maybe.
No. Why did I get it? I know that, well, I think maybe it's required for Rogue Squadron. Anyway, I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, you might, Turok, I think, was also supported, if I remember right, one of the Turok games, but
maybe, because that sounds familiar, because I paid way too much money for Turok, because I then also had to buy a memory card, because you couldn't save on the cart. Did I need it? I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I'm sure it'll come up again someday and I'll know more about it. Let's see. Last things I think that I have to say about Star Fox, other than it's still so much fun.
Yeah.
It's still a really fun game. But I also love the music. The music of the game is it's very enjoyable. Even though it's coming off of an N64 cart and that's not like known for super high quality audio, it's still like it's great music.
I have to call out because I mean it's no secret that Ocarina of Time and Star Fox 64 were in development around the same time. So Star Fox 64 came out first, of course, but the trick where there's actually an R-Wing actually programmed into Ocarina of Time. It lives there. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So the boss, the fire dragon Volvagra, they actually used an R-Wing to sort of get its flight and its movement right. So it's actually in the game. You can hack it in and you can see this R-Wing flying around in Zelda just for what you can spawn it in a different. Anyway, it's really interesting. That's cool. But I wanted to call it the music. Some of the music is like really reminiscent of how they use kind of different instruments, and that's how they did it in Ocarina of Time as well. Particularly like the end credits music really reminded me of Ocarina of Time, though it's just a distinctly different song.
Yeah.
But I did also the menu music when you first sort of like press start.
Yeah.
I just left my Wii U running so I could listen to that for a while.
I did the same type of thing, and then I also just after I beat the game, it just kept looping and going through like the end credits and the end sequence, which was also pretty cool. Or wait, no, sorry, it went through that and then it started looping through the intro sequence. My bad. But yeah, just I don't know. It's the game's so charming. The characters are still kind of blocky, like especially when it's going through the introductory animations. But Shigeru Miyamoto loved the like American puppet show in the 60s, Thunderbirds. And that was basically like what inspired Star Fox was Thunderbirds. And I was reading something earlier that was saying like the reason why their mouths just open and close and don't do any more animations is to also, well, I mean, two things. One, it's to pay homage to and mimic the puppets in Thunderbirds. But also, I mean, it's easier to animate that and shaves off some time. Sure. But yeah, it's. Did you see that Nintendo Direct for Star Fox Zero with the puppets?
I think so. I think it sounds that sounds somewhat familiar.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just another throwback to puppets and Star Fox and what originally inspired the style Star Fox.
And I have to talk about, you just mentioned the Rumble Pack. I remember as a kid playing this, I remember the Rumble Pack feeling very violent. It's got to be like one of the harder rumbling controllers, like especially the angle where it's at. It's just like,
I don't know. It's so using it this time around, it actually was less powerful than I was expecting.
oh, really? Okay.
Like
Maybe
I
I've
get
gotten used to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I'm used to it from, all the modern controllers. I feel like it's way more severe on modern controllers than it is here.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Anyway, I just remember it being
I don't know.
jarring, but
Did you have a third party Rumble Pack?
well, yeah, I don't know. I thought I had the original, but I had much smaller, weaker hands at that point. So
That's true. That's true. If I went back, to 1997 me, well, I don't know. What was I? I guess I was 13.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but luckily playing on the Wii U, I actually did get Rumble support using the Pro controller and gamepad. The gamepad wasn't fun, but to play this game, I used the Pro controller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just like a little too. I don't know, just because I needed to mash. It just didn't, having to hold that thing and mash at the same time was actually kind of difficult. But anyway, the Wii version, which I did own the Wii Virtual Console version, and then I actually paid to upgrade to play the Wii U version for like a whole $1 or $2 or something like that. But the Wii version was a little controversial. There's no Rumble support in that version, so
well, I don't think they would have. Wait, were there any controllers on the Wii that even
like Rumble? No, I don't think
Rumble?
so. Yeah, it's, well, I mean, there was, I mean, you could use a GameCube controller on it, but it wouldn't rumble. So, so apparently,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that would. Yeah, I don't know. For some, even though that sounds strange, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, same. So the Wii U version brought that back, so I did get to experience some Rumble while playing it. So, but yeah, I mean, game's super cinematic. I really enjoyed it. Gained a whole new level of appreciation. I like it twice as much as I ever have. So
nice
after this playthrough.
Yeah, I really enjoyed all the. Yeah, I mean all of the different scenes, all the setup of everything, and also I feel like the graphics still, like, they still hold up pretty well. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is an N64 game, but I don't know. I probably because of the art style of it, I would argue it's probably one of the best looking N64 games.
Yeah.
At least that I can think of right now. To be fair, I guess that system, I feel like there's so many games that haven't aged well that I've not gone back to play as many games during that very early era of 3D games. So I don't know. I guess it could be partially rose tinted glasses as I'm looking back and going like, yeah, this is one of the best looking N64 games, but I don't know. From what I can remember, it definitely is.
Yeah, and I definitely wasn't through this whole playthrough thinking like, man, that's ugly. Like it all looked totally fine to me, totally serviceable. One thing I do want to call on the Wii U that was helpful is that they will let you completely redefine the controls too.
Oh, so yeah.
I mean, though A is really good for mashing the trigger, I did actually use a bumper on the Pro controller
nice.
to actually take over shooting, and I found that helpful because then I could use my thumb for other things like pulling off those maneuvers. And also like for a lot of N64 emulation, I really don't like it works for some games, but I don't like how they emulate the C buttons with the joystick.
Yeah.
So what I did is I just mapped all the C buttons to the face buttons of the Wii U Pro controller. Yeah. So it was a lot easier to kind of pull off those little somersaults and U-turns and things like that, brake and boost. So
yeah, interesting. I don't know how like looking at the controller I was using, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know how I would map that to a standard controller now.
I had to think about it, but I think the right bumper worked for trigger and left bumper for bomb. That seemed to make sense to me. So,
yeah, I feel like I'd still be. Well, no, I guess you already have the other trigger buttons.
Yeah, the other triggers I used for
doing a barrel roll.
Doing a barrel roll, exactly. But yeah, it was a great time. I will, won't hesitate to pick this game up again as soon as I feel like playing it. So
yeah, no, it's something that, if I've got 30 or 40 minutes to play, maybe an hour, and I don't know what I want to play, and I don't feel like playing something new, this is definitely something that pops up in the back of my mind, or I'm like, ooh, like it. I could plug in my N64 and start playing Star Fox 64 probably faster than I could think to pick a different game that I already have installed somewhere else.
Sure, totally.
But yeah, it's still a good time. I still totally recommend it. If anyone's listening that has not yet played Star Fox 64, definitely check it out. If you have a Nintendo 64, it's definitely worth picking the game up. I don't think it's that expensive. I mean, I have had it for a number of years now, so I don't know exactly what the going rate is at the moment. But it'll only get more expensive until the bubble for retro games burst. So yeah, if you got a Wii U, pick it up on Wii U. If you got a Wii, you can't actually buy it on the Wii anymore. That eShop is gone. Or hey, actually get it on the 3DS. It's a fantastic remake on the 3DS. The graphics are better. You can play it in 3D, which actually the 3D effect is really cool for that game. It's one of the few games that I definitely go out of my way to play it in 3D if I'm going to be playing it on the 3DS. But yeah, there's two scoring systems. There's the traditional N64 scoring system, and there is a 3DS specific scoring system. I do not remember the difference between the two, but it is a great way to play it.
I think it had something to do with the controls, but I'm purely speculating there. So,
oh yeah, you know what? I think it does. I think it's the addition of gyro controls, and then maybe one other thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good looking game. The 3D is great. Wherever you can play this game, even if you only have the IQ player from China from 2003 or whatever it was, whenever or maybe even more recently than that. I have no idea. You can also play it on that if you're, in a territory that's the only thing you can find. I'm trying to think if I have anything else on Star Fox. I think I might be tapped out.
Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Okay. I don't know. I really like it here in 1997. There's no fires. At least not that I can see. I don't see, well, actually there's a whole laundry list of things that I don't see that I could complain about, but I'm going to not go there. All right. Well, are you ready to hop back in the time machine and go back to September the 11th, 2020?
Let's do it.
Okay. Stepping foot in the time machine. And we have now arrived back again to September the 11th, 2020. I should have taken a snack on that trip. Feeling a little peckish. Time travel does weird things. All right. Well, thanks for taking that trip with me back to 1997 and talking about Super Mario 64. But why don't we talk about what we've been playing here in 2020? You actually have quite the list this week.
Yes. And some of these, are kind of short, and some of these we actually share, but I'm going to kind of rapid fire some.
Feel free.
So I recently remembered I'm still subscribed to Apple Arcade. So I was like, oh, I did renew that subscription. So I started picking up some games to try and, So I'm going to bring up two just really quick that
Sure.
I had played. The first one is a Fold Apart, which was recommended. It's actually also on Switch. So it's just a little game about kind of the story follows this couple that's going through like certain they're experiencing a long distance relationship, a chosen long distance relationship for a temporary amount of time, but it really kind of explores like that you kind of go through the conversations that they have. And this is sort of the cutscenes that are in between the game. The actual game is sort of this folding puzzle where you have to kind of get from point A to point B with your character. And it's almost like it's like you have a sheet of paper, and on both sides, there are different platforms, and you can kind of like fold the paper over to create new platforms from the other side that your character can walk onto. And you can also flip the paper over, and it can also require multiple folds. It's really interesting. It's a brain teaser. I really like those, especially on a phone, because it just gives me something to think about.
Yeah.
So I played a little bit of that, maybe like a half hour. Also last night I picked up a brand new game on Apple Arcade called A Monster's Journey, which they don't really give you any sort of explanation, but you play as this little monster with a backpack, and you're going to these different islands, and you have to sort of roll logs to create bridges. But if you're rolling it on the round side, the log will keep going and fall into the water potentially. Or if it's on, it's like the long way, you can kind of roll it one step at a time since it's not rounded. So anyway, it's really interesting. I don't know if it's a British developed game, but it has a lot of British humor, it seems like, in it. Very almost like Hitchhikers, sort of.
Oh, cool.
It's talking about museums, which is oddly enough, I haven't figured out why, but it's like talking about human behavior at museums. And they're like, oh, if you set up these funny ropes with poles, it creates invisible walls for humans. They won't cross them. So, and it's talking about stanchions and ropes, right? So anyway, it's just kind of really silly. So I'm going to play some more just to experience it, but I keep finding new mechanics to it. I just discovered you can make a raft with it, which is in the trailer, but
nice.
And I think that's all my mobile games. So I'm going to let you talk about one or two.
Yeah. I'm going to skip my first one. I don't even know why I put this here. I need to stop putting what I've been playing as being one of the games or the game that the episode is about. So yeah, obviously I played some Star Fox 64. As usual, played a little bit of Overwatch because that's kind of my go-to if I like don't know what to play and just want to play something, or if I'm in the mood for just playing something team oriented. I like doing that.
I was there.
So you and I played a bit. Didn't do too bad, I think. It was a good time. And let's see. Well, another thing that we also played was Drawful 2.
That was a good time. I don't know what platform I was necessarily playing on because we were doing it over stream.
Yes.
So it didn't really
technically
matter.
It was PC.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, I hosted a couple rounds of Drawful 2, and a few of us via Twitch, because I didn't know of a better way to get people to connect to things, or a way to share my audio, or share the audio of the app through something that wasn't, Twitch or something designed for streaming. So anyway, we did it there. It worked out pretty well. There was, I think, a lag of, it started off, I think it was about 5 seconds, and it got up like maybe to 8 or 9 seconds over the course of the time that we played. But overall, I still think that it worked pretty well for that game specifically. And I really enjoyed myself. I love the heck out of that game. I think it's a lot of fun.
It kind of felt like playing hard mode because you had 5 to 10 seconds less than the clock was giving you to sort of figure things out. So was it helpful that I was trying to call out what I actually saw on my screen, or I'm like, okay, there's really actually only 10 seconds left? Yeah, it's definitely to calibrate my mind a little bit. Like, okay, I can't use all the time. Nope. Think fast. Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I like that game. The only thing that kind of bugs me a little bit is that um, they add difficult. They don't give you easy things to draw at some point in the game,
no, of
because
course not.
that would, I know, but it's like, it's also kind of frustrating. Like, oh, it's like if this was slightly different, it would be so much easier to draw. But yeah, that's the whole. But I feel like a lot of times, like people just, especially maybe it's my drawing ability, but I get mad that I can't be good at it. I can't make it like, oh, obviously that is this.
Yeah, well, I think the thing you got to focus on is the fact that like it's more about, I don't know, at least the way that I play it is the first funny thing I think of looking at somebody's drawing and then being the first to type in whatever that thing is. Like very quickly being like, this is what I think, like this is what this could possibly look like, and I'm just going to try to get people to guess my thing. Like that's my biggest focus in the game, because like like I'll draw some crappy thing and I'm like, I didn't do this, like I didn't do justice to what I was supposed to draw, like there's no way in hell somebody's going to guess this. But that's the great part about the game, because then it opens up everyone else to try to like collect all of those votes for whatever ridiculous thing they say it is that you drew.
It's a good point. It reminds me of like playing Cards Against Humanity, and I really like that because that's about creating the funniest situation that you can, like just with these limited amount of words that you have. And I love that. I think I have a lot of fun just making jokes. So
yeah. So like I love it so much more when I like trick people into picking what I wrote instead of getting people to guess what I drew.
Totally.
So yeah, that's my game, I guess, even though we both played. I'll let you go on because again, you've got a list.
Yeah, I had the house to myself for a week, so
I know that's the way the rest of this is going to go for me.
Yeah. So I had a couple more Star Fox games actually. So just I've never played the original Star Fox, so I decided to whip it out.
Blasphemy.
Yes, on the Nintendo Switch. And so it doesn't run super well.
What are you talking about, man? That's that Super FX chip. That is screaming. That is cutting edge technology. That is amazing.
At a blazing 12 frames per second.
Hey, it doesn't matter, man. It's 3D. That shit was realistic.
I mean, looking at that, yes, I'm impressed with the time and what they did, like graphically with it.
Dude, the future is now. Like, oh my God. I couldn't. Oh, I was also beyond excited for the original Star Fox because those polygons, man, polygons were the future. Anyway, I'm gonna stop.
That's okay. But the music I do have to call out. It did. The Corneria City was like stuck in my head for like 3 days after that, and I mean, it was really good. It was just very hard to play the game, but also read what the characters were saying because there was no voice acting in this game. Yeah, exactly. So, and they were telling me important things, so I needed to be able to read that. But and then also, so
good luck.
Sorry, they kept that through.
I know it sounds slightly less robotic in the 64 version. But that was the only spoken stuff in the original Star Fox. Good luck.
I mean, we did forget to call out that Star Fox 64 was like one of the first like Nintendo fully voice acted games.
Oh too. Yeah, that's right.
Which I think is really cool. I think they did a great. You don't see a lot of that on the Nintendo 64, like how you called out with the sound chip, but
well, it's because like actual good quality audio takes up way too much space on a cartridge.
Yes.
Where you seemingly had infinite space on a compact disc.
Exactly. Another game that I didn't play and I saw this on sale, brand new for $13, was Star Fox Zero for the Wii U, which I never played this. I canceled my pre-order when it was brand new, just because I had heard about some reviews and some frustrations, and I definitely see where those frustrations are with the controls. Part of it, it's mostly the walker. The walker is actually what bothers me, is because it is just very slow to turn left and right. And so I found myself missing platforms, which should have been easy. But otherwise, I think it's really cool what they're doing, how they have the cockpit view on the gamepad. And then you're also just sort of getting the cinematic view on the TV, which is, I think, really cool.
Yes. Unpopular opinion. I really liked and enjoyed that game when it was released.
Yeah, so I want to play more of that. But the thing is, I got stuck on something which I haven't gotten to on this list. Okay, I'm going to talk about one more. I played a little bit of Puyo Puyo 2 on the Switch, on the Nintendo Switch Online for the Super Nintendo games.
Nice.
Which I love Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. So it was like a nice surprise. Actually, the title is entirely in Japanese, so I didn't even know what I was doing. I just fired it up to see what it was. Like, oh,
what is this?
And it's probably one of the first times I've played this. This has happened once before, but I don't necessarily play games that aren't in English, like that don't have some instructions. It seems like impossible to me.
Okay, yeah.
But this one is completely in Japanese, and it was I don't know, kind of mind-boggling to me. I was like able to play it. I had no idea what was going on with the story, but none of it really seemed to matter. I was just like,
I mean, the story of a puzzle game doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. So I was amazed how much I'm having fun right now, and I can't read anything, but I'm having fun. So anyway, I thought that was really cool. I'm going to let you talk, and then I've got something I want to talk about.
Cool. Then I'm going to go out of order, because I think I'm going to leave the thing that I've been playing the most, aside from Star Fox, of course, to the end. So I don't know. I was in kind of a mood one night, a little over a week ago, before my partner left to also do family stuff, similar to yours, and she was like, "Look, why don't you just play Mario Kart 8? Like, you always seem happy when you play Mario Kart 8. Just like get in a better mood. Just go play that." I was like, "That's I'm okay. Well, I mean, I guess that's a good idea, because that's a valid point. I generally am in a good mood when I play Mario Kart 8. So I played Mario Kart 8, and I played a couple cups just against the computer, just because it's fun, and then I resumed playing it online and won a few rounds, or not rounds, I guess, a few races, and just genuinely had a good time, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch is fantastic.
And you're very good at it, so I could see why, winning some races online would make you very happy.
I even got a friend request from somebody on Nintendo Switch Online. I didn't accept it because I don't know. I generally don't accept random friend requests. But actually, the last time I accepted a random friend request was from somebody I played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with, and we had like a heated rivalry going for a little while, and I can't remember what happened, but then at some point, like, we both just stopped racing and then just were doing donuts with each other while the race was still going on. Like, I don't know, ridiculous crap. It's like, I don't know if I was doing this with an adult, or if it was like a 6-year-old kid, or I have no idea. But I see that they play Fortnite a lot.
Yeah, maybe perhaps a little younger. I mean, though I still to this day play Fortnite.
Oh, so. For sure. And I've played Fortnite because of playing it with you, and it's fun. Like, it is legitimately a fun game. But anyway, yeah. So I played some more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't know. Like, I still have like historical thoughts and feelings about how I think Mario Kart 64 is my favorite Mario Kart, but I think really Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is my favorite Mario Kart. just so good.
It's a good one. Yeah.
So pretty. It has so many of the courses from the previous game, or sorry, not previous game, previous games in the series. It has like my favorite recreation of a Super Nintendo racetrack on not the Super Nintendo version, or also not in Mario Kart Super Circuit on the Game Boy Advance, because that's also where all of the Super Mario Kart courses are. But Donut Plains 3, like
it's a fun one.
I like, no bullshit, Donut Plains 3 was one of my favorite racetracks on Super Mario Kart, the original. So I like practically lost my mind when I saw that they had put that in the Wii U version, Mario Kart 8. And yeah, it's so good. That, and like, oh man, the Excite Bike track, which of course is not a remake of anything, but it plays such great tribute to Excite Bike, which I love the crap out of Excite Bike, and I played so much of it when I was a kid. Anyway, like, it gets all the right feels. It's all the right everything. Like, I really love the addition of the non-Mario characters, like how they added Link and the Hyrule level and the F-Zero levels and the Mii costumes. That's the F-Zero stuff, so you could look like Captain Falcon. Anyway, I'm saying way more about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe than I thought I would. But so yeah, it's definitely a game that makes me feel good. And actually, one game that I did start playing again, that I realized I didn't put on the list, but don't have a ton to say, is Animal Crossing. I did actually start picking that up some more.
Good.
Still not buying turnips or anything right now, but I've just been going back in to kind of check the store, talk to my villagers. Boris decided to leave the other day. I let him go because I'm still kind of on the quest to get Eugene. Eugene was my favorite villager from New Leaf, and I really would love to get him back on my island in New Horizons. So anyway, I will stop at that unless, yeah, actually, I think there's enough for you to go again and then for me to go again.
Yes. So I picked up a game, and you're probably already sick and tired of me talking about
Not
this
at
game.
all.
But I picked this up on sale on Switch a while back. It's Yoku's Island Express, which is a genre is best summed up as a pinball Metroidvania. And I like it because the pinball elements it serves the game so well as a gameplay element, but you're still like moving around and sort of like platforming, but you just happen to be doing some pinball because you play as a tiny beetle who is tied to a ball. Actually, inexplicably, the whole game, they don't explain why this beetle is tied to a ball. But I just love when you flick this ball and the ball goes flying and the beetle is just hanging sort of limp behind it. And it's making little noises like, and then anyway, it's fun. It almost reminds me of this, sometimes the pinball like level layouts, they'll have these thorns below the flippers. That's like sort of like you lost your ball, but the little beetle, when he hits the thorns, it's almost like Angry Birds. He just kind of says like, ow, like it's just so cute. The whole game is so cute. The art is amazing. The music I legitimately just started listening to because it's so just like chill and peaceful or whatever. Actually, in preparation of this podcast, I wanted to have some of those recordings like ready to go, because this is one of those games that are like, feel free to use these assets however you want.
Cool.
So it's like a true indie game is what I call it.
Awesome.
But that's okay. I just recommend anyone check it out because it's a great game. It really got its hooks in me. It joins the 100% club because I played the heck out of it, and just
nice.
Even when the story ended, I just didn't want it to be over, so I just kept collecting things. I don't know. I think the story, if you're playing it, probably takes maybe like 10 to 14 hours or something like that. I probably spent like 16 or 17 like collecting everything. Um, and I'm going to go kind of in rapid fire because after I 100%ed that, there's nothing left to do but lay down the controller at that point. So I started playing Ori and the Blind Forest in hopes that I can get some of that Metroidvania itch. And then I also, yeah, and per your recommendation from last time, you said you played Demon's Tilt, Opulent Pinball. So I was playing a little bit of that, and it's definitely a lot different. So it's not scratching the same itch, or neither of these are really, but that's not to say that either of these are bad games. But I really want to get further in Ori because it's generally regarded as a good Metroidvania. So I am enjoying that. The manual save system is takes a little getting used to for me.
Oh, yes. That's right. The manual save system of Metroidvania games still to this day that you need to make it to like a particular area to save.
Well, and Ori kind of flips it that you can save anywhere.
Really?
You can save anywhere, but you have limited amount of times that you can do it. So, and then also, when you perform a save, like literally anything, anybody you talk to, anything you collect, if you die, is completely erased back to that save point. So if you decide not to save for an hour, you just lost an hour of progress. Yeah. So, anyway, it allows me to save every 5 minutes or so. So I think I'm okay with that. But if there's one thing that really kind of gets me on games is like being forced to replay content. Like I want to move forward. Yeah. I don't want to be spinning my wheels in the same place, So, but Demon's Tilt is fun too. I really like the sound effects. It's generally fun. It's funny because you start playing and it's like, okay, this is pinball. And then like more flashing lights start happening and more sound effects and the music's really good. I found my heart rate just sort of gradually going up as I was playing, and it was fun. It was a good time.
I think it's a great pinball game to play, at least as a video game pinball game. It's super
I didn't know what was required to actually complete the board. So
I don't know either. I don't know what's required to complete it. Like I think my highest score so far is somewhere like 60 million something. I think, and I think it's that. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, I've not beaten all the bosses on the table or anything like that. I just kind of go back and forth to it periodically. Well, actually, I think maybe I played it only once in this past 2 weeks, which is why I didn't really call it out. But yeah, just like, have a little bit of time that I don't really want to like have to think too much. And I just like, I don't know, just want to have a very focused objective. Don't let this ball go down all the way 3 times. Yes. It just can't do that 3 times. Do whatever you can to prevent it from going down to the bottom of the screen 3 times.
So it's interesting. I thought I kept getting balls. Like I think I went through like 4 or something like that. I'm like, why am I? I mean, maybe I got an extra ball.
Well, it happens in a lot of pinball games that if your ball goes too quickly down to the trap.
Oh.
And I also don't know if that's the proper name for it. That's just what I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
So if you lose your ball too quick, it just pops one right back out for you.
Okay. I gotcha.
It's the game paying you a kindness.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, you really didn't mean to suck that bad, did you?
Yeah.
Here you go. It's like the ball was only in play for like 10 seconds. Here you go.
It's like the bartender. You give you a drink and you spill it, and they're like, it's okay. Here's all right, here's another.
I got you. Don't worry about it. It happens all the time. Yeah. So anyway, you just finished up your list. Do you have anything else to say before I continue stepping on your stuff and then finish, I guess, my last 2?
No, I really liked Yoku's because it was just one of those chill games because there's no real consequences. You can't really die. And I'm not saying that it wasn't ever challenging or frustrating or something, because there were definitely like very specific points on the board that I would try and hit. It just felt like a very low stakes game. I was just, and it's puzzling. So it was hard in its puzzles, that like just to, figure out. I liked how you had to like pick a point and try and navigate on the map there. And it was never always 100% clear how you got there, but you'd figure it out. So I just 10 out of 10 for me. Just, I guess. And there's one last thing to call out there. I did have some bugs on the Switch. And I think it was mostly just due to not all games are built to be ripped in and out of the dock, so there were some minor graphical errors. On my 100% playthrough, I did get one hard crash, but I was, the save places are pretty often. So it's not like I lost any progress at all, but.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That sucks that it crashed.
I'd like to see how it runs on PC. If it goes on sale there, I might just pick it up just to see, but
yeah,
might look nice in 4K. Who knows? So
yeah, well, I'm going to keep an eye out for it.
Please do it. You do yourself a favor.
All right, let's see. I got two things left. One's going to be pretty quick. I'm going to start with that, which is World War Z. This game came out, I don't know, over a year ago. Maybe even close to 2 years ago. I have no real concept of time anymore. It's fun. It was a $40 release. It had a decent amount of content, and it's a zombie co-op multiplayer. Get through an area, set up a defense point, mow down 1,000 or so zombies, advance, have little battles, do the next thing, set up and have a big wave and knock them all out. Anyway, it's the type of game that I really enjoy. Like I love co-op games. I love horde mode style stuff when there's just because I guess that's very arcade style in nature. And I guess I love my arcade style games of like, here's 1 million enemies that all have like one, they have one hit point before you kill them. So just like spray and pray and you'll just take them all down. I don't know. I enjoy stuff like that. I guess that's why I like the Dynasty Warriors style games.
I was going to say you just described Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So I very much enjoy games like this. And I recently saw that during, I think it was the Ultimate Xbox summer game sale type thing. Since I have it on Xbox, their DLC stuff, I can't remember if it's a season. I don't know if it's a season pass or what. I haven't paid too close attention, but I just saw that it was on sale and I thought, what the hell? I had a really fun time. With the other maps that are in the game. And actually they had a couple free updates after the game originally came out. But the DLC pack includes Marseille in France as a new playable city. It's a new campaign, new characters. And I think I also got some like special pre-customized weapons. And there's like different weapons you can pick up throughout the game. Anyway, so I played a little bit of that last night. Just to kind of change things up a little bit and give myself a little bit of a break from the last game I'm gonna mention, which was actually the first game that I mentioned that was not Star Fox 64 in this episode, which is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Oh my God. I've played this game so much since it was released literally a week ago today. I've already 100% completed Tony Hawk 1, Tony Hawk 2. I have also filled out all stat points on Rodney Mullen. I'm close to filling out all stat points on my own custom character. I've already got a bunch of achievements. Like I am in love with this game, which really I can't be that surprised about, even though for some reason coming up to the release of this, I'm like, oh yeah, that'll be cool. Like maybe I'll pick it up. I guess it would be fun. I don't know how I could have been so lackadaisical about it, because now that I've been playing it, I'm remembering just how much time I spent playing Tony Hawk 2, Tony Hawk 3, Tony Hawk 4, and I did not ever own the first Tony Hawk game, which is why it was omitted from that list. I started with 2 on the Dreamcast. But yeah, man, it looks so good. It feels exactly the way that I remember it feeling. It looks the way that I remember it looking.
Yeah. So that's the important part.
Which means that it's significantly better than the way that it used to look. Yeah, these, like, it's so funny because, like, just looking at the list of the names of the different levels, I didn't remember them, but as soon as I started playing them, it just like smacked me like a brick in the face, where I'm like, oh my God, I remember this. And I remember where that, like, oh, I remember where like the skate thing, like all the letters for skate are like, oh, I remember where uh the hidden tape is in this level.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, it's so much fun.
Are they still VHS tapes in this game?
Yeah. The music is pretty much the same as the music from the first 2 games. I think there are a few tracks that have been cut due to licensing or whatever. I don't really notice what's missing. I mean, it also really helps that I don't have a deep seated memory in Tony Hawk 1, because I though I didn't own it, I have played it previously, but not the way that I played 2 and 3 especially. Those 2 were my 2 really big Tony Hawk games. And I did, like I mentioned, I had 4. I think I had or I have Underground 2, and I don't think I have Project 8 anymore. I think I ended up getting rid of that 1 year. But yeah, man, the Tony Hawk games have such like a big place in my heart, so much bigger than I remembered or realized until I started playing this again. It's just, I don't know, it's so addicting, and it's I guess it's the arcade nature of it, and like chasing the high score and trying to get a better combo and all of that. And I've been playing a little bit online as well. And that's been really fun, because online multiplayer didn't exist for Tony Hawk previously. It was only like split screen multiplayer. Well, and actually I could be wrong. Maybe Project 8 had some type of online stuff, and maybe some of the later ones, but I'm thinking of like back to the PlayStation, Dreamcast, PS2, that whole era of Tony Hawk games. It was local multiplayer only. So it has been fun to play online with a bunch of people and see in any particular group that I match up with how good or how terrible I am compared to some of the people that I'm playing against. But I gotta say, it's been really fun playing against the people that are a lot better than me, because it makes me focus more.
Yeah, it pushes you further.
Yeah, it's made me, like, there was somebody that I was playing against last night that, like, this person and I were probably in like 10 of the same, like, different matched games together. And it kind of cycles through, whether you're doing trick attack, which is just like total top score, or you're doing, I think it's combo mambo. And it's like whoever gets the biggest combo within the 2-minute time limit. Graffiti, which you're getting different, like you're essentially claiming different pieces of a skate park or the different pieces of the environment by skating on them, and having a high enough score so that if somebody else skates on them but gets a lower score, they don't overtake your stuff. And then there's a couple other things, but anyway, this person that was just like, especially in the first few, that was just totally blowing me out of the water. I was like, no, like there's no, like, I know that I'm better than this. Finally ended up like eking out a win in like one of the last 2 matches that I played when this person was on. And it's cool. It's like a lobby of, I think, like 8 people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also just kind of fun to focus in on who, like, okay, you're really good. Like, I'm going to watch you, because you get usually like 30 seconds of buffer time saying, cool, this last thing ended. You're kind of in a free skate and you get to all kind of keep skating. And like what you do in this 30 seconds doesn't matter. It's just kind of like practice time or hangout time. So yeah, just kind of like watching some of those players that are doing better than me and just really like focusing on what they're doing in the time in between competition, to kind of get a good, to get a better idea of like, oh, like that's how they're tricking in that area. Like I never would have thought to do X, or like, oh, that's what I'm doing wrong over there. So anyway,
you get to see their lines and pick up on their strategy a little bit.
Yeah, and I've had this game just kind of on in the background. So even as I've like walked away to make dinner, or feed my cats or anything, I've just kind of left it on the menu screen and can just listen to the wonderful and amazing soundtrack. Yeah, I really hope they end up doing a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4.
Yeah,
To follow up to this,
awesome.
either that or add it as like a season pass DLC type thing to get the stuff, or all the stuff from 3 and 4. Because I think even though I called out 2 and 3 being my biggest Tony Hawk games, 3 is the one for me that, even though I spent a ton of time playing 2, 3 took it for me.
Like, 3 is the GOAT for me too.
That one, like the soundtrack there, like that's also the one that I feel like if they release the remaster, like I also haven't played it in a long time, but I feel like I just like that would like pick it up and then be tricking on all of my different areas, like on the cruise ship.
Yeah, the cruise ship is great. Just grind all the way around the thing,
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So anyway, strongly recommend it. If anyone listening has ever enjoyed a Tony Hawk game remotely, definitely check this out. It's only $40. I know they have a deluxe version that's, I think, 50. I don't know what you get with it. It really doesn't matter. Like, pay the $40 for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Super fun, super good time.
When I saw that this is such a good looking game too, my inclination is to play it on PC. I see that it is an Epic Game Store exclusive.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, because I tried to look it up on Steam. It's not there. So I'm sure maybe it'll come to Steam eventually, but I have seen that they run great, 60 FPS on all systems. So I think Xbox One would be not a bad choice for me.
Yeah, so I ended up picking it up on Xbox One. I had thought about PC as well, but it's so funny. Like, for me, Tony Hawk is like 1,000% a console game.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Even though I know that it's like the series has been on PC for a while. Yeah. Well, and I don't think not even close to every release, but there definitely have been some releases on PC. It just doesn't seem right to me for some reason. And I know that's really like that's a really silly thing for me to say. But it just screams console game to me. So yeah, I just like, part of me even thought about it, picking it up on the PS4, even though I don't play the PS4 all that often. Just because, with the exception of having Tony Hawk 2 on the Dreamcast, every other iteration of Tony Hawk I played was on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I almost was like, oh, I gotta go with the PlayStation, but ultimately wound up with Xbox because, like, I don't know, I kind of like I kind of like achievements more than I like trophies.
Sure, totally. I do as well. And
even though they're the same damn thing, I don't understand what about it that's different is what's more compelling to me.
Yeah.
About achievements. I don't know.
It's still like even Steam achievements, right? They I will take them over nothing, but I honestly don't care, which ones sometimes I'll just, like I would like to get that just to get that, not for any other reason. But on Xbox, I'm more like whatever achievements I get, I think they're all valuable, because just they seem like they keep a good record of them. So
and I like also the additional stats that you normally get now with games on Xbox as well. Like when you go to the achievement section, you go to look at like your achievements. There's also that other stats area that in a lot of games it shows like the number of hours played, and then also all of these other different ways to compare like different unique things in the game for like you compared to like your friends. Sadly, that does not seem to exist in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. I went to go look at it because I was like, how many hours have I played this game? Like I kind of want to see how many hours I've played in the past week. And then it's like, sorry, this feature is not supported. Or something along those lines. So I was like, oh, dang, that sucks. But whatever. Still super fun. I think that's all I should have to say about the game.
Should we talk about what we'll be playing next for the next episode?
Yes, and I will give that announcement to you, since this is technically your choice.
Yeah. Well, I mean we
I know we kind of went back. Yeah, it's that's true. It was a joint decision because of all of the announcement of the 35-year Mario anniversary. You kind of had something in mind, and then Nintendo kind of threw a wrench in this.
Yeah, so a good wrench. It was a good wrench, but it was a good wrench. So together we sort of came up with so in honor of the 35th anniversary of Mario, we're going to play Super Mario World, which is, if you want to play along, it's available as part of Nintendo Switch Online, and then there's various versions available, formerly on the Wii and Wii U, of course. I think I'll be playing on the Nintendo Switch just because I have that snazzy wireless SNES controller.
Yes. Oh, and since you mentioned that, if anyone is listening, hopefully they won't be sold all out by the time this is posted. But they are for sale again. Those Nintendo Switch nice. SNES controllers. They're super nice. I have one myself. If anyone's on the fence about them, if you have any desire to play SNES games on your Switch and you don't only play in handheld mode, I would definitely recommend it if you do not have a Super Nintendo, or hell, even if you do. I have a Super Nintendo and I still have one of those because it's just a great controller.
And it's cool actually because it works great for platformers that don't necessarily utilize the joysticks. So like I play a lot of 2D platformers with it, and it's excellent. It's so good.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm undecided if I'm going to play it on the Switch or if I'm going to play it on my Super Nintendo. Yeah, maybe a little bit of both. Cool. Well, yes, very exciting. Super Mario World is the next thing that we're going to be focusing on in 2 weeks. So please play along, or not, whatever. I'm not your boss. Well, for those of you listening, thank you so much. It is very much appreciated. We know that there are a lot of podcast options out there, and we really appreciate the time. Sorry that you... Bleh. Let me start over here. I'm having a real hard time speaking right now. We appreciate you taking the time to put our words in your ears. So thank you. It does mean a lot to us. You can subscribe to this podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Overcast, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Radio Public. Come and join us next time when we talk about Super Mario World, other video games, And I guess that means we're going to be traveling back in time to 1991. Exciting stuff. We're going real far back. Yeah. I'm excited. Anyway, I think that's it. We got anything else? That was our outro. What are we still doing here?
I know. We need to.
Why are we still talking? Okay. All right. Well, thanks, everybody.